gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse.
Well, I hope the chairman is as indulgent with Democratic members as he was with our colleague from Louisiana.
I think Ms. Stansbury went over about him.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I will just say this. I don't know that maybe my friend is confused about the particular witness that we're hearing from today. Ms. Haaland is not the Secretary of State. She's not the Secretary of Homeland Security. She's the Secretary of Interior. And in my view, she's doing an effective job. And I would also say, I think the questions in particular that were posed by the gentleman from Louisiana, and perhaps he didn't mean to convey them this way, but context matters. I know that the Secretary has a bone-deep commitment to the United States. Perhaps he's unaware that her father is a veteran, was a distinguished officer in the United States Marine Corps who earned a Silver Star for his service during the Vietnam War. I find it offensive.
Is the gentleman suggesting something I said was inaccurate?
Mr. Graves, it is not your time. It is my time.
I wanted to make sure I understood.
To the extent the chairman wishes to intervene,
I wanted to make sure I understood.
Because I haven't yielded time to anyone. I'm addressing the Secretary, and I say to you, Madam Secretary, that we are proud of your service and your family's service to our country, and grateful for the work that you were doing at the Department of Interior. Notwithstanding the histrionics from, unfortunately, some of my colleagues today, I'm surprised by it, to be candid. As you know, Madam Secretary, and it's good to see you, and welcome back to the Natural Resources Committee, I'm proud to represent the 2nd Congressional District of Colorado, which includes the headwaters of the Colorado River, and to serve as co-chair of the bipartisan Colorado River Caucus. We have been grateful for the communication and the leadership of your agency as we continue to face drought conditions throughout the Colorado River Basin. I understand, of course, that the department is currently developing post-2026 operating guidelines for the Colorado River through a multi-year and collaborative stakeholder process. I think it's important that we acknowledge the need to be proactive, in our efforts to conserve this critical resource rather than the solely reactionary and crisis-driven. To that end, I'm proud that we've introduced 2 bills, one of which has passed the Natural Resources Committee and passed the House on a bipartisan basis, the Drought Preparedness Act, which would support a critical program in your department, Madam Secretary, that the Bureau of Reclamation uses, the Drought Response Program, to provide assistance through drought contingency planning, drought resiliency projects, and emergency response actions. I'm hoping the Senate will take that bill up. As you know, your budget request includes $25 million for the Drought Response Program. I wonder if you could briefly talk about how that investment will help increase drought mitigation work in the Colorado River Basin.
Thank you very much, Congressman, and I thank you for recognizing how important the drought response programs are as part of the $66 million request for water smart programs to work cooperatively with communities to address water shortages. I will just tell you that if those authorities are not reauthorized, the drought response program, it provides assistance to water managers to build long-term resiliency to drought. As you know, people have said that it's a 1,200-year drought in the West, and you recognize that every single day, as I do, being a New Mexican. And so we feel these programs are incredibly important so we can continue to do the work and make sure that communities have the water that they need.
Well, I thank you, Madam Secretary, and I certainly hope that the Senate will heed your call and our call to pass that bipartisan bill, as well as the House with respect to the second bill in reference to the authorities that you mentioned. I just want to briefly touch on SRS, the Secure Rural Schools and the Payments in Lieu of Taxes program. Of course, understanding that NRS is primarily a Forest Service SRS is primarily a Forest Service program, but there is a portion operated by the Bureau of Land Management. We've introduced legislation. It's bipartisan legislation. Representative McMorris Rogers of Washington is the co-sponsor to reauthorize the SRS program for an additional 3 years. The program is critical for rural communities across the country, including communities in my district. This program has broad bipartisan support. There are 70 co-sponsors on this particular bill, and I'm certainly grateful for that. But unfortunately, I'll just say, Madam Secretary, that we've been frustrated that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have not put this bill on the floor for a vote. The authorization lapsed, as you know, back in September of 2023. There are a lot of communities and congressional districts that will be harmed if we don't get this bill done. Just to give you, by way of example, Chairman Bentz's district received more than $51 million. Representative Fulcher, whom him and I have worked closely together for many years, his district received $16.6 million. I know, Representative Malfa, you care about this program, $11.4 million in your district. That we've got to get this done. I know the department is supportive of this effort. I'm just hoping that we can implore the Speaker and perhaps, Mr. Chairman, we can enlist your support in getting this done so that all of our communities in rural America aren't harmed disproportionately. I thank the Chairman for his indulgence. I yield.
Gentleman's time has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. LaMalfa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for appearing with us today, Madam Secretary. Welcome back.